Hey everyone, going to give you a quick fishing report for Lake of the Ozarks. It is late September and the fish are finally starting to move shallow here at the lake. Water temps are in the mid 70s, so they're dropping a little bit. We're starting to get some colder nights, and it's finally starting to feel like fall. It's been a really warm fall so far, had a lot of temperatures and days in the 90s. So, we're finally getting some of those 70-degree days and temperatures dropping into the 50s at night. So that should help the fishing. The lake level's lower than normal for this time of year. They've dropped the lake a few feet. So a lot of shoreline cover is kind of out of the water right now, which is I think keeping these fish out a little bit. Them drawing that water down hasn't had them wanting to move shallow so far, but they're starting to make that progression. The shad are starting to move back in some of these creeks and coves, and there's a lot of fish that are getting caught around the lake right now in a lot of different ways. So you can catch them shallow, you can catch them deep. It's just kind of however you want to fish. So we got the Big Bash coming up this weekend. It's a huge tournament down here at the lake. Somebody's going to walk away a winner of $100,000. And to do so, you're going to need to catch some big fish. A lot of hourly prizes given away for those big fish, and it usually takes a 4-pound plus fish. So we're going to talk about some bigger baits, I guess, today, and how I would go about maybe fishing that Big Bash. As far as patterns go, boat docks have been a big deal. Whether you're fishing boat docks on the main lake or back in some of these creeks and coves, the fish are really relating to the shade of those docks. And to fish for those fish, I'm using the Trophy Bass Company Pro Jig, 1/2 ounce, 5/8 for most of the boat docks. If you're fishing deeper structure like points and things like that, I'll reach for the 3/4 ounce just to get it down there and get a reaction out of them. But the jig has been a really good bite. It's a versatile bait. You can fish it around a variety of cover, which makes it a great bait for the fall time of year because, the fish are in brush piles, they're deep on points, they're shallow under boat docks, they're relating to shad. So you can do a little bit of everything with the jig, and that's been kind of my mainstay the last couple weeks. Been fishing around brush piles, cables, boat docks, things like that. You're going to want to look at all of those things this coming week. The lake's going to be crowded, so it's going to be getting around some good cover and just kind of fishing. You got to kind of fish the moment, fish what's given to you, because there's going to be a lot of places that you probably want to go where there's going to be a boat sitting. So, just keep an open mind. The fish are doing a lot of different things, so that jig is really versatile and can kind of do it all for you. So if I'm fishing some brush piles, things like that, I'm also going to reach for a big worm. This is the Hog Monster from Tackle HD. It's a 12-inch worm, and big worms get big bites typically, and fall is one of my favorite times to throw them. I got that on a 1/2 ounce Bass Pro tungsten sinker with 20-pound fluorocarbon line, Bass Pro Shops, 100% fluorocarbon, and a 5/0 Hayabusa 114 worm hook. That Hayabusa hook is a really good hook. I'm using the HD version, which if you plan on catching some big fish, you're going to need. It's just a little thicker gauge wire on that hook, and it's going to hold those big ones for you. So check out those Hayabusa hooks. They're awesome. We talked about line a little bit. You're going to want to beef up your line this weekend. You don't want the fish of a lifetime swimming away from you. So I'm going to use a lot of 20, 25-pound line when I'm fishing around heavy cover like boat docks, brush piles, things like that. Top water, one of my favorite things to do in any season, but it's really going to start picking up here. And, this weekend at the Bash, there's sure to be a lot of fish weighed in on a top water. Tackle HD Worldwide Buzzer, one of my favorites. I like black, I like white. Those two colors are what I'm reaching for. Just whatever you have confidence in. Cover a lot of water with that. Fish them, down rocky banks. Maybe some shade lines behind boat docks where you see some shad activity. Just put it in your hand and go. And, if you get the right conditions, that can produce a really big bite. Walking baits, like a Zara Spook or something similar to that, produce a lot of bites this time of year, working around on shallow flats, around the corners of boat docks, anywhere you see shad activity or schooling fish. I like that more in open water and produces some really big bites. Swim bait bite has been known the last few years to produce some of those tournament winning fish here at the Bash. And for a swim bait, you're going to look at some of those glide baits, some big soft baits that you just reel around. I'm not a swim bait expert, but I know, given the right conditions, that can produce a really big bite. It's something you got to stay dedicated to. You're not going to get a lot of bites on it, but when you do, it could be a real good one, and it could be one of those fish that'll put some big money in your pocket this weekend. There's going to be a deep bite as well. Always some fish weighed in deep this time of year, and I'm talking anywhere from 20 to 35 foot. These fish get extremely deep in the fall for some reason, and there's some out there right now. You can catch them on brush piles, deep points, secondaries. Use your electronics. I got the Garmin's at the front and back of my boat, so I'm looking from all angles. I got the live scope going, and you can see those fish swimming around on a lot of those structures and throw to them. I'm using a 3/4 ounce Trophy Bass Company Pro Jig. A deep crankbait's always a good bet this time of year. Deep swim bait. Something with a 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce head to get down there a little bit. And, you can get creative out there. Heavy Texas rig, shaky head, things like that are all going to produce some bites. So you got to scan around with your electronics, use your down view, your side view, try to locate some fish and some structure that you're holding around, whether it's a boat dock, a brush pile, rock pile, all of those can hold fish this time of year. So, really it's about finding the shad. These shad are on the move. They're here one day and gone the next, and typically the fish will kind of follow with them. So be on the lookout for shad, bird activity, and just get around the bait. That's what these fish are doing this time of year. They're following the bait. That's why they're so nomadic and can be kind of hard to track down from day to day. So, kind of keep an open mind, keep a variety of baits handy, and, focus on, these boat docks, brush piles, shade lines, things like that. These fish are really, really on the move. So you got to kind of be on the move as well. Look for the bait, and you're going to be around the fish. So good luck to everyone at the Big Bass Bash. Hopefully these tips helped you a little bit, and good luck out there. Catch some big fish for me.